Good evening. President Ford, Superintendent Dr. Starcher, fellow board members. This evening, I continue to celebrate students that scored a perfect 10 on the writing portion of the General Summative Assessment from last year. This evening, I have one student who was an Independence Middle School student and now is an Independence High School student. And I would like to recognize and say congratulations to Ronan Thomas for making a perfect 10 on the writing test last year. They're going to watch you. Well, but we can get one with everybody. Yep. Yeah. Congratulations. Also for recognition B, there was an error in the reporting from College Board, so you can mark that one out. Thank you.
Moving right along. Mr. Dillon.
President Ford, Dr. Starcher, board members. 60 plus years ago, we had a coach in Raleigh County by the name of Jerome Van Meter. That name means a lot. The name speaks for itself. Mr. Van Meter, or Coach Van Meter, went on to be inducted into the West Virginia Hall of Fame and the National Federation of High School Coaches Hall of Fame as well. So 60 plus years. At the end of his career in Raleigh County, he finished his football coaching career with 180 wins in Raleigh County. If you do that math, that would be 18 perfect seasons. And think about you may never have a perfect season. With that said, on August 28th, 2025, one of our current coaches in Raleigh County surpassed Jerome Van Meter. On August 28th, Coach John H. Lilly defeated Herbert Hoover, and at that time surpassed him with 180 wins in Raleigh County. Now, Coach Lilly sets at 190 wins at the end of the season. So tonight we would like to acknowledge the great accomplishment and bring forth Coach John H. Lilly, our current coach at Independence High School, who sets currently in Raleigh County, just in Raleigh County, 190 career wins. Coach John H. Lilly. Get your picture up there. Oh. I was going to say, that's 190 and counting, because Coach Lilly's still going, so we're counting still.
Hey, Coach, you want to say anything?
No, I just thank you guys. Next year will be my 30th as a head coach, and I think you appreciate things when you get a little older. So I appreciate it, and I do mean that. I think the older you get, the more you appreciate all the things and opportunities and the ups and the downs. And I thank you guys for the honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, moving right along. We have no agenda items, no non-agenda items. Communication reports. Dr. Hutchins.
Well, it seems like a really long time since we've been here, but let me think. I hope everyone had a good holiday. I was able, prior to the holidays, to go read to the kindergarten class that I read to at Clear Fork. And the good thing that made this day especially nice was our state superintendent was there. And she read to second grade, and then we got to visit a while and walk around and talk to the kids in all the classrooms. So it was really nice to have Michelle Blatt at Clear Fork when I was reading down there. And also, one of my favorite things during the season also is to go to ACT to the festival at Tree, and it was wonderful again this year. It was amazing as always.
Ms. Smith.
I stopped by Park and made a tour of the building and went through the new gym. Gym's going to be very nice once it's completed, but we still have some work to do. But the kids seem to be enjoying themselves in class.
Ms. Hamrick. Mr. Snow.
One thing I have is I've attended a couple basketball games at for Trap Hill and for Liberty. Watching kids play and enjoyed that. Both schools looked really good as far as the overall look at the school. I guess we all know, but it is concerning that some stuff we've seen in the last few days about educational funding. The governor's budget about the 2% reduction in education is included in that 2%, which actually becomes 4% if you try to do it in this year where we're going to do it. The lack of funding, the lack of support for public education is pretty daunting. So we're going to have some issues on that. I think we go to our state meeting in Morgantown 13th and 14th of February. So there'll be some discussion about that, on how we can address that, or how we can. There'll be some meetings, some of the school boards. We're trying to get at least one member from each school board to attend a session in Charleston at the start of the legislature session to visit with legislators and kind of keep them aware of some of the obstacles we have, and not only with funding, but some of the unfunded mandates that have been passed down to us, and the reduction in federal funding and how we, looks like the state's not going to make those up, so how we address those problems. And besides that, that was good. I had a good Christmas and made a trip to Mobile, Alabama for Christmas. So visit my stepdaughter. I thought it would be warm, and only to find out it was 27 degrees there when we got there, and snowing in Mobile, Alabama the week of New Year's. So it was kind of a miserable little trip for weather-wise. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anything. Dr. Starcher.
Well, welcome back, it seems like, to board members. To Dr. Hutchins' point, it does seem like it's been a long time. I would just inform the board that we were informed today that substantial completion at Park on both projects should be May 14th, I think, May 14th of this year. So we'll see about substantial completion on both phases at Park. There's a lot of work remaining, but that is what the contractor shared today. Our playground projects, Hollywood, Daniels, those are progressing. So we are moving along on those, and that'll be good to see. Both playgrounds should be up and functioning, hopefully, for the spring when weather breaks. Hopefully. And then I would say, I know I've talked with you a little bit about digital accessibility and requirements that we are fully digitally accessible in terms of our public-facing digital products like our website or social media and so forth. We are working rapidly to make sure we comply with that deadline of, we have to be fully accessible April 24th. So we've communicated anything that's not accessible at 4 o'clock on April 23rd, we will cease the use of. But over the next little bit, and actually today, you'll hear a little bit more about digital accessibility in terms of policies. But just to let you know, Miss Polly, Mr. Cook, Mr. Hazelwood, and Miss Stafford, Melinda Stafford, they are working pretty quickly to move us in that direction. So anyway, I believe we're on track. Our schools, obviously, they have to meet the requirements as well, and it's painful, but they're making progress. And we do work on this a little bit at each principal's meeting as well. So that's just a little update on where we are with digital accessibility. Thank you.
Mr. Ford, I forgot one thing I wanted to mention real quick. I wanted to personally thank Mr. Daniel and the maintenance department. We had a situation at Fairdale where one of the golds were messed up and they couldn't adjust it up and down. And we have a youth league down there, and so some of them play on an 8-foot gold, some play on a 9-foot gold, some play on a 10-foot gold, depending on the thing. And the gold was stuck and they couldn't do it. And he and his crew spent many hours down there. And we first thought they were going to have to order parts and everything else, but our maintenance department is second to none. Mr. Daniels in there with them, and they fabricated it. They fixed it, and I really appreciate that. And all the kids, there's like 75 to 100 kids in that league, and they really appreciate all the hard work and be able to use that gym to have their league. And I want to thank him.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Lacey, Director's Attendance Report.
Good evening, President Ford, Superintendent Starcher, and board members. I would like to present tonight the 4th month attendance data. So for the 4th month, our attendance rate was at 94.092. We had an enrollment of 9,474 with 0 high school exits for the month. Homeschool, we had 12 new for a total of 820 so far. Homebound, there was 1 additional for a total of 21. Alternative, 17 for a total of 54. And Hope Scholarship, 11 new notice of intents for a total of 888.
Any questions? Thank you.
Yes. Sure. 9,474. No, this does not include pre-K. Correct.
Mr. Butcher.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Starcher. It's that time of year again. Looking forward to another wonderful budget season. So we'll start off January the 14th. I believe that's tomorrow. The 60-day legislative session begins. We've got the budget requests out to the directors now, so those are due back on January the 23rd. On February 16th and 17th, I'll meet with directors on staffing. A lot of the staffing meetings have already been held, so this will be basically to finalize our special ed and title funding and vocational funding, or staffing, I'm sorry. On February the 23rd and 24th, we'll be reviewing the budget requests and looking at what we're going to fund for FY27. A lot of needs, as you well know. On March the 3rd we'll see our certificate evaluation, and we'll have a meeting on March the 10th to ascertain the financial condition of the board from the funds raised by taxes. That's not a meeting where you approve anything. That'll come on the third Tuesday in April, which is the 21st. On March the 14th, the legislative session ends. On the 27th of March, we should get the final comps. On the 30th, we'll submit our levy rates, final levy rates to the, or proposed levy rates to the state board and the state auditor. On April the 21st, we'll reconvene the March 10th meeting to formally approve the levy of taxes. On April the 24th, we'll certify and send those to the state auditor and Department of Ed. And on May the 12th this year would be our work session. And the 15th would be a follow-up if so needed. By the 15th, I'll do the public hearing notice, and we'll actually have our public hearing on the 26th. The budgets are due on June the 1st. I've attached behind that the calendar that's issued by the West Virginia Department of Education just for your reference and review. Any questions?
I brought up the 2% reduction above the governor put out there. Have you guys had any communication back from the State Department to you?
We've not had any communication regarding reduction of funds, and no, we haven't had any notification at all regarding any reductions. So,
okay. You just know what we know. We read in the paper just like the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
Been reading a lot in the paper lately, I believe.
None of it's good.
None of it's good. That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's right.
Thank you for helping keep us straight. I noticed the other day that another county couldn't even make payroll.
Yeah, there's several counties with struggles, and there's a lot of need in the state of West Virginia. And when you don't have excess levies, I think that's part of the problem. I mean, not only are we dealing with a climate that's hard for education, but we're also dealing with inflationary pressures on the other end that I think is oftentimes forgotten about. We face the same inflationary pressures that everybody does, even more so because of our projects and the things we try to do to keep our buildings and staff safe and sound. So,
Mr. Butcher, if I may, the board members have a blue calendar. And that blue calendar includes the date of May 13th instead of May 12th.
So that's going to be May 13th?
You sent this to me, and May 12th, I believe, is Election Day.
I did change that.
You did, and sent it to me, but this white copy has May 12th.
I'll change that.
So
It may be May the 13th.
I'm going to have you use the blue.
Yeah.
Is that, so that's good with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure nothing had changed since.
Yeah, nothing had
We're
changed.
good. So use your blue copy. Everything else is the same. It's just that date. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
We have no unfinished business. Policies and procedures. A repeal and replace policy B.3.3 purchasing card.
Yes, Mr. Ford and board members, the next two, or both policies that are before you this evening, what I'm about to say applies to both. As I said earlier, our technology team has been working to move us to fully digitally accessible. And Mr. Cook, I believe, has really been the one to work on our policies and making sure they are all accessible. These two policies he could not convert. The program just would not make them digitally accessible, so they had to be recreated. And in so doing, we took out forms, and we'll just make those available to our employees. We took out some tables, but that information is still reflected in the policy, just not in tabular format. And then bullets. If you used round bullets, those aren't accessible. You have to use letters or numbers. So you'll see some formatting changes in both of these policies. Specifically to letter A, policy B.3.3, you will see some minor language changes in terms of before BB&T would be specifically referenced, but now we just refer to the banking institution instead of specifying a specific name. So those are the reasons both of these policies are before you. The same thing with letter B, policy B.4.10. We just tightened up language here and there, but nothing is changing with what we do. It's just we needed to change the formatting of the policy. So I would recommend both of these be placed on 30-day comment. Thank you.
You heard the recommendation. Do you have a motion?
We put policy B.3.3, purchase card policy and speakers, and policy B.4.10, tip and fall, both out for 30-day comment, as was recommended.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Consent items A, B, C, and D. Can we vote on all those together, or do we need to pull any of them? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. New business. Consider approval of the incentive bonus for early retirement notifications. Ms. Samako.
Good evening. You have a copy of the incentive bonus information in your packet. It is as it was last year, except for this year, the deadline of March 1st falls on a Sunday, so the deadline is now March 2nd. But I think everything else in that incentive bonus information is the same as it has been in previous years.
Any questions? A motion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Do we do one of these on service personnel too?
Yes, it's not, and this is probably something Darren could speak to better than I, but it is not in the state policy for
Right.
service personnel, but Raleigh County
Raleigh County,
does
we do it.
that.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Absolutely, as a county, we do.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
I thought. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
As of right now, I don't have a feel for very many. There have been a few mid-year retirements that you all have seen come through, but I have not had very many notify me that they plan to, just a handful.
Okay, thank you. What?
I'm next.
Oh, okay. Okay, approve superintendent's recommendations for 25-26.
So you all have the corrected recommendations in your packet. We do have a couple changes and adjustments. On page 3, you will see at the bottom of the day, at the bottom of the page, there's clarification that Erica Packus will be entering into a 215-day contract. That was not previously specified. And then the next page, on page 4, we are removing Laura Morgan. She has rescinded her acceptance of the position. And then on page 6, you'll see under the custodial section, there's just clarification that those should have reflected custodian 3, and they were typed incorrectly.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is as presented with the corrections noted by Ms. Simonko.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendation for personnel for 25-26 with the notice corrections.
There's a sec. Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Approve the following individuals for contracted services effective 2/5/26 through 6/30/26 as needed. Angela Foster, school health nurse.
President Ford, board members, I believe in your list of personnel recommendations this evening, it was reflected that Ms. Courtney Martin will assume the role as as the Director of School Health on February 5th. You approved her way back when, but we have not been able to do that transition because we had to get people in place in the school she's at, and that's been hard to do, just getting folks to apply and getting successful candidates. So the thought is that she will assume a role as Director of School Health, and if needed, the rest of the year, if she would need something from Ms. Foster, that's why that recommendation is there for possibly Ms. Foster, and the date's February 5th to the end of the school year.
Okay, any questions?
I move we approve the contract services with Angie Foster as needed through 6/30/26.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approve administrative leave for an aide.
Amanda Hayhurst.
I move we approve the approval of administrative leave for Amanda Hayhurst as was recommended by the superintendent.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approve suspension of a teacher.
Cole Blankenship.
I move we approve the suspension of Cole Blankenship as was recommended by the superintendent.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve administrative leave and suspension of a bus operator.
Davin Harden Ball.
I move we approve the administrative leave and then suspension of bus operator Darren Harden Hall as was recommended by the superintendent of schools.
I just would like to clarify, it's Davin Harden Ball. That's okay. Just Davin Harden Ball.
Okay, do I have a motion? Okay, second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, that's part A of our meeting tonight. We're going to go into a brief intermission, and then we'll do LSIC at 5:30. So this meeting is temporarily adjourned. Call the meeting back to order. This is for the LSIC. This is where we want to hear from you. So the first is Independence High School.
I could hear you. I don't know if they could or not. I have a couple more that were supposed to be here, so if they interrupt, I'm sorry, but they were coming from work. With me, I have Coach Lilly, Jesse Stevens, Melina Belcher, and Dr. Wood. On our LSIC, Chris and Renee Mills are supposed to be here, but like I said, they were coming. Chris was coming from putting floor down, so he said he's rushing to get here at 5:30, but they're supposed to be here. Anyway, I wanted to go over with you guys some data that Dr. Wood and I work with all the time, with the board, with each other, with basically what our lives run off of as in this job. And I just wanted to share with you where we started and where we are right now within the last 4 years, and how we've grown or not grown or whatever, and then go over with you kind of our plan on what we're doing, just to give you some information about what Independence High School is working on day to day. Rachel is my clicker because we don't have a clicker, so when you see me doing that, she knows. Go ahead. So my first one is our average SAT scores. I don't know if you can see it that far, but I'll talk to you about it too. So I'm going to try to help you out. So that first one, the red is Independence High School. Okay, the black is our district, Raleigh County, and the blue is the state average, or your average SAT score. This is not proficiency. This is average score, okay? So in 2023 is going to be your first on the left. Independence High School was well below district and state average. The year before last, 24, we kind of caught up a little bit. You can see in the middle there, we kind of brought it up to at least where we were running with them. And then last year, we have now, 2025, our newest data, we have exceeded the district and the state SAT average. And like I said, that doesn't mean they're all proficient. That means we're all moving towards the right goal of a higher SAT score. Next one, Rachel. Thank you. Okay, so this is SAT score by range. So basically, it's by range of the SAT scoring. So the very first one is 400 to 590. That's how many kids we had score in that range. That's the lowest range that you can score in. And like I said, the very first one is 23, your blue is 24, and the red is our last year's, our most recent. So what this basically shows is we started, you want to move the kids from that front range to the back range. Okay, so we want our front numbers to go down, but then our top numbers to start going up. So you can see like our range 800 to 990. We had 38 students in that range 2 years ago, and now we have 65. So we've almost doubled the students that have went into that almost proficient range. In 23, we had 23 students, 1,000 to 1,190. Last year, 33. So we've gained 10 more kids into that next range. So our goal is, you know, our special ed students may start out, but we're moving them into another range. Our higher students, you know, they were at the 1,000 to 1,190. We moved 9 students into 1,200 and 1,390. So we are moving them in the right direction, even though maybe they're not all proficient. Like I said, this is what we're kind of studying at our school because we kind of started low. We started, you know, we had to really chop away at this, and it's going to take some years. But over the last 3 or 4 years, this is the growth we've seen in those ranges. All right, Miss Polly. So this is just our enrollment. This just shows where we were. Went all the way back to 2020, where we were at 550. Our 24-25, we were almost at 600. We're back down to 573. So we're kind of teetering a little bit, but really, when I look at those homeschool numbers, those Hope Scholarship numbers, and we're losing hundreds, I'm losing 20. I'll kind of take that with those ratios. We are maintaining our students, you know, there at Independence High School. And I hate declining kids when they want to come out of district, but we're getting to a point now where we're full. Our classes are full. So, all right, these are total DRFs. Okay, that top one, that 389 was in 20. I can't even see it, 21 and 22. So in 21 and 22, they wrote 389 DRFs. That was the year before I took over. So my first year and Dr. Wood's first year, we lowered that all the way to 211. The year after that, 202, and last year, 166 DRFs. So we have over halved, about 55% of those we've cut out. I'll show you why on the next slide, why that looks that way. So those are by level. The red would have been that 389 year. Look at those level ones. 223 of those DRFs were a level 1 offense. That's classroom management. Those level ones are not office referrals. When Dr. Wood and I first took over and we noticed that data, that was the first thing we kind of said was, why are we having so many DRFs that should be handled first in a classroom or at, a phone call or something, not necessarily a DRF. So we hit that running, and you can see last year we had 30 level 1s. Most of those are the skipping, because that's still considered a level 1. So I feel like we are diminishing our DRFs and our discipline issues that we have at Independence High School. The level 4s have went up, but our level 1s and 2s are going down. So that means we are focusing our time on what's important, the big ones. I want to get the big ones taken care of. The little ones we can work with and do other things, but those big ones have to be where our numbers are, not those little ones. So that's what we focus on with those DRFs. If you have any questions, you can stop me at any time. I'm a talker, so just got to stop me if you have any questions. Okay, our next two do not look great. So this is where I'll talk about that too. We do have some negatives, so we're going to go over those too, but our attendance rate went down. And with that, our next slide, you'll see that. Don't go there yet. But our next slide goes with our graduation rate went down too. So I look at that in two ways. One, we have to get it back up, which we have. I'm going to go over that in a second. But it showed me we held them accountable because they didn't graduate if they didn't come to school. And that was where we took a hit because my seniors last year, they just couldn't figure it out. No matter how many meetings I had several that just would not come to school, and I could not let them get a diploma. So I had to kind of hold them to the fire because I felt like if I didn't, then what does everybody else see? Oh, well, he didn't come to school last year for 90 days and he got a diploma, so then my juniors see that. Then my sophomores see that. So we thought, this cannot continue at Independence. We have got to stop this. So we figured we'd take maybe a hit last year, and we did. But we're aware that our strategic plan is based around this attendance. And right now, I pulled our Zoom data yesterday, so it was try to be as current as I could. Right now, we're sitting at 93.4% daily attendance rate. And like you can see, we went down to 88 last year. And then our chronically absent rate right now is only sitting at 18%. Which still sounds kind of high, but not compared to what it was last year. My seniors alone last year sat at 55% chronically absent. Yes. So that was startling data to us. And when we saw that, that's why we hit attendance this year running, because that's where we fell last year. We raised in test scores, we raised in everything else, and then our attendance. So now we're refocusing that and trying to bring some more attention to attendance. So, but you are seeing true data. That's where we flunked off a little bit. You can go into the next one, and that's our graduation rate. So we were at 90.51 the year before. Last year we sat at 85.8. So we dropped, a good 5%. But like I said, when I went back and saw the kids that didn't, and it matched the attendance, I thought, well, we held them accountable. They didn't come to school. You didn't do the work. That's just how it goes. But we saw that, and we see that that's what it is. So we have pushed so much on attendance to get both of these data points up. I think once attendance is up, graduation rate comes up too. Mr. Stevens, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know how many dropouts we've had so far? 0. Okay, so we are trying to get these up, but we do realize that that is something we're working on. All right, next one. So this is practice SAT data for the kids that haven't taken the SAT yet. So you see the one on the far left, that's class of 2027. Okay, so that should be the kids that should test this year. So their very first practice test they ever took, they scored a 726 average, all right, in 9th grade. 10th grade, they scored a 769 average, starting the year. So they retained that much from the year before. Now, we obviously want to see more growth than that on the SAT, but these are the beginning of the year practice tests. Our class of 28, which is our sophomores, they started at 805, and then their next year they began at 842 average. And then our freshmen, this year's their first data, but they're sitting at 766 on their first test. Average score, practice SAT or PSAT this year. We did the practice test the year before. So what we track this, and we track each student. So like we have an Excel sheet that has every single student's name on it, every single practice test they've ever taken, where, you know, we have all that, but this is like your just overall average of each grade. Okay, so you're getting all the SE students, you're getting all the gifted students, you're getting everybody in this data. All right, next. So this is something we wanted to brag on a little bit, but we were ranked 34th in the state on School Digger, which is the highest ranking Independence High School has ever had since School Digger started. We went all the way back. They started ranking these in 2009. Our highest ranking before this year was 54, and we hit 34 this year. So we, you know, 4 years ago, we were sitting at 102 in the state out of like 111 schools. We were in the bottom 8% of high schools in the entire state, and now we're sitting at 34th out of 112, 4 years later. So our school has worked really, really hard to build that and to make that important, and we have a big poster in our office about it and, you know, things like that. But, you know, that's everything combined. That's your attendance, that's your discipline, that's your, you know, that's like an overall scorecard compared to the other schools, and so we're kind of proud of that. Because we've never done that before. We've never achieved that high of a ranking. So we're very, very proud of that one. All right, and next is how we're kind of doing it. What's supporting us to do it? We do Indy cards, which is our PBIS. I know you all have heard PBIS a million times probably in these meetings. But we actually use it. And these kids get these rewards, and they can, these lanyards or, you know, just little things that they can go pick out of our little store in the back office when they're caught doing something good type thing, or they make a high test score, or just something, anything. We do that, and we use it as incentive mostly. And then our monthly attendance challenges, Dr. Wood is PBIS queen. And these attendance challenges and discipline challenges she's doing monthly, she's the one really heading all those incentives. But we noticed the first month, it was funny because, you know, our attendance was so low. That first month we did an attendance challenge, and the kids were like asking, you know, I was announcing on the loudspeaker, 10th grade's winning, they're beating you, you know, seniors, you can't let 10th grade beat, you know, we're doing all these things. And the kids started asking, like, when's it over? What day do we have till? You know, when are we going to do our thing? So they started getting into it, and so it's working. Like I said, our daily attendance right now is up to 93. And they ask about it. What's our next challenge? Like, they're starting to ask, like, what's next month? Like, what do we get? You know, so they're buying in a little bit. No, not every high school kid, but we're getting enough to where they're talking about it and they're figuring out what it is. So we do feel like those challenges are working. We have an intervention team that meets, really, we're all on lunch together. I did that on purpose in the schedule, but I put us all on lunch to get lunch duty together. So we can meet on our other lunch or lunch duty. We're all kind of together. So we can basically meet every day, but we really only meet once a week, but we talk every day. And we really use that team to discuss specific kids that need attention. You know, so-and-so hasn't been to school in 5 days. Has anybody checked on him? Who's going to check on him? You know, who's got this kid? Have we reached out to this kid? Or we're seeing this kid is falling behind. You know, we just really use that time as like individual help for certain kids we've noticed, or that I bring from data or from the chronically absent list, or, you know, something like that. We might just say, hey, how can we help this one? Like, what's going on with this one? Has anybody talked to him? And then we just kind of have a 2-second plan. Okay, Mr. Stevens is going to grab this kid. He's going to make sure he has everything. I've got this. And then we're finding that we're getting a lot more kids. Like, we're hitting a lot more individual problems than just big problems. We're getting a lot more of those tier 2 and tier 3 kids that aren't just big group. They need maybe something a little different. So we feel like that team has helped us kind of push that a little bit. Not that we weren't trying to do it, but it made us focus on that a little bit more, I think. And then our link schedule, we strategically schedule every kid one by one based on their scores. We put them with specific teachers in links. So if I have my upcoming juniors who are going to test this year, they're sophomores, I'm going to look at them this year, and I'm going to hand pick certain kids to have my math SAT prep person. I'm going to hand pick these kids to go to my English teachers during links because they were lower in English. I'm going to hand pick these kids because I know that teacher is stronger in math and they need just a little bit more. So we literally, this group here behind you, strategically put almost 600 kids one by one into specific teachers. Sometimes it's behavioral. Sometimes that's the only person that can get that kid to do that SAT prep because they have a relationship with them, maybe that they're, act up in another class or something. So we literally handpick where they go every day for 30 minutes. And then our math and English, like our junior ones, we swap at the semester. So let's say maybe they had Mr. Perkins, one of our top, he teaches our trig, our calculus, all that. He has a set of juniors every day for 30 minutes. Then at the semester, I'll give him another set. So he can SAT prep math, another set of my juniors that haven't had him yet. So, and then they'll go to an English, one of my English SAT preppers. So we are strategically giving them those teachers that are our strongest, preppers, because they teach more juniors and seniors. They're just used to that. And then our stronger ones, like our honors, kids, they may go in with this teacher for a little while, and then we swap them and do. So we strategically give them specific teachers for that SAT prep. And I attest a lot of our growth to that, to be honest. On Mondays and Wednesdays in those links, we utilize MTSS. So those kids are getting a one-on-one checking attendance and checking grades from that links teacher. And then every Friday, those teachers have to send us a sheet of paper that they've talked to that kid, and if they have any failing grades or any attendance issues, they have to document on that paper. It comes to me on Fridays, and then I turn around, go through them, and then give a stack to Mr. Stevens, who then pulls them and tries to work with them one-on-one, the students that we've identified through MTSS. So that's our Monday, Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday's SAT prep. They're getting prepped. Khan Academy or our mastery prep, they're getting some kind of SAT prep on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we do club day to give them a little bit of that, like the kids who do clubs time. And then catch up is what we call it. The kids who maybe you missed on Monday or Wednesday because they've missed school and you didn't get to MTSS or meet with them, you have Friday where you can maybe grab them if they're there and try to catch up that day. The kids that maybe you missed Monday and Wednesday from absences or something. So that's kind of how we run our links and how those kids get in those specific classes. And I think us doing that has been probably the most successful trick we've used in our SAT data and our SAT prep and that kind of thing. I think that's kind of been our thing, I guess you'd call it or whatever. That's all the data that I brought. That's kind of what we live around is that data. But I will answer any questions that you have from that or anything else, I guess. Thank you. Thank you. We are working very hard at Independence High School. We are, I promise.
I think it's really impressive, number one, the growth. But I sat here and listened to you, and it sounds to me as if you are getting to know each and every one of your students. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about you make sure this one goes here, this one goes there, are you hand scheduling all
these
kids? That's, oh my goodness.
One by one.
The time involved in that, so that's really admirable. Thank you so much, and it's showing.
It's the only way we have figured for every student to get exactly what they need, even if it's 30 minutes a day. I mean, I don't know. We don't have any more time in the day to do it. That's all we had. But we thought we better utilize that because one of the other schools I was at before had a links, but it wasn't really, there was no focus on what they were doing when I took over. And I thought, what are they doing in there all day? Nothing. They were just hanging out, playing their computers, skipping, trying to go to their boyfriend's lunch that was going on. There was nothing to do. So when we decided to do this, Dr. Wood and I and Mr. Stevens got together and we were like, we have to give them something to do. Like, this has to be meaningful if we're going to do this. So that's the plan we came up with. That was it. Well, thank you.
Any other questions?
I just think the relationship that you have with kids, this goes back to your first year when we did the honors luncheon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You were, and it was your first year.
Mm-hmm.
You were the principal that had something to say about every single kid. You knew them.
Yeah, I do know them. I do know them. I go to their ball games. I go to their band performances. We do lunch duty every day. We do morning bus duty. We do afternoon bus duty. We do second breakfast duty. We are out with them all day, every day. Like, people who come into the office, they can tell you, attest, sometimes it drives everybody crazy. My door is open all the time, and how many people come in and out? The kids. Miss Green, Miss Green, Miss Green, Miss Green. I mean, it's just revolving, but I like that. Like, I'm okay with that because if they're asking me, then they're getting the real answer, for one, because it's coming straight from me. And two, they feel comfortable asking me, and I'd rather them do that than me bark at them and them not want to come say, Miss Green, Miss Green, Miss Green, So that's kind of how I do that. It's just we have an open door, very open school policy kind of. We're just very welcoming. I don't know. Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Any other questions? Yeah. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Might need more chairs.
I'd rather hold it. Here's one. Miss Halstead right here.
So welcome, Independence Middle School.
I'm going to speak up. Ms. Gordon and board members, every year Mr. Dillon leads the review of our school campuses to determine which schools will receive the most beautiful campus awards. Mr. Dillon normally presents those awards, but he did have to leave a little early this evening. But I have the great pleasure then of announcing that Independence Middle School won first place for the most beautiful campus award this year. And Mr. Ford is going to present Ms. Gordon with that plaque. So congratulations, Ms. Gordon and Independence Middle School. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, President Ford, board members, and Dr. Starcher. I'm going to announce everyone that's here today. Aaron Price is the assistant principal. Miss McGinnis, Miss Halstead, Miss Schuff, Miss Hatfield, Marcia Dickens, Cassandra Haga, Lisa Snodgrass. Now at-large members, John Shufflebarger, Tom Bowers, Miss Lester, and then we have our 3 students, Macy Cheek, Brinley Haga, and Kylie Jones. So I would like to start with our data from the summative assessment. In 2024, we were 39% in math. We went up to 42%. In reading, we were 55, and we stayed at 55 for 2025. In 2024 for science, we were 21%, and we went up to 27%. Some of the concerns for 2025 that we went over this year and that we intend on improving is improving the math scores across the 8th grade. And we say 8th grade because in our 6th grade, we did some data. 6th grade, the students do really well. 7th grade, they do really well. 8th grade, it's a transition year, always, even our best testing groups. And we see a decline. We have since I've been there. So our goal this year, last year they were 33%. Our 7th grade was 51%, and then our 6th grade was 41%. So our 8th graders this year were 51% last year. Okay, that's great. So we're going to try to hold that this year, and I think that there's significant gaps that we have to fill with foundational skills that we are really going to hone in on this year, problem solving. And I get it, it's a transitional year, but we're really focusing on 8th grade math scores. So, and that's with special education students as well. So we are trying to align the math materials that align with the curriculum for the 8th grade. That's what we're really doing. And then we're going to focus on attendance. It's 90.5 right now. I would love to see 92.5. I know that 2% in attendance is large, but I think we can do it. And then that's all the concerns that we really had for this year is math scores going up and the attendance rate going up. And of course, attendance is important or you can't get your math scores up, and that's what I tell them all the time. Then how are we going to change this? This is our plan. Multi-tiered instruction, always. Focus on curriculum support, targeted interventions. We are really honing on this with ALEC, iReady. It's a must at Independence Middle School to do ALEC, iReady, always, iExcels. And this year, looking at the content standards from last year, Ms. Hodges has always given us that form that tells us this is the content standard that what you did last year, how can you improve it? So we've really, in our team meetings, that's what we've been focusing on. How can you improve that content skill? Then the next one is what can Board of Education do to assist you? I have to say, I looked on the jobs today. My 3 special ed jobs are posted, so I can't say anything for the curriculum. We got what we needed for special ed. We got, thank you for that. They bought our special ed teachers some extra trans math that they wanted. We got that. I saw on there today that we got our jobs. And the only thing that I'm really hoping and wishing for one day, 2 things actually, is an awning to walk. We have a far walk. I've talked to transportation. We can't change the route, and the kids are soaked in the morning. We come, if you've You know, we come in at the rock, and it's almost a football field length to get to the door where we enter. Our kids are soaked. So I thought maybe we can put an awning at the front, come in at that handicap spot right there. They can walk the front. Still don't change the direction of path, but maybe an awning. That's what I'm really focusing on. And we got the front, so when you enter Independence, the hallways from the office up to the doors were painted white. Now we just need the hallways painted white because now they're cream and they haven't been painted since we opened, I think. Miss Schuff would know the date. But those are really it. I'm so happy with everything that's going on at Independence. I would like to talk about the accomplishments. We had 2 Golden Horseshoe winners last year. We had a Beckley Art Foundation winner. 50 students yearly are inducted to National Junior Honor Society. History Bowl Region 1 winners. And excellent rating for band for WVSSAC. And then on the athletics side, we had the football team were champions, and 2 students in track broke records. When I got there, I said, we're going to be an athletic school. We can, but we're going to push academics first. And that's really where we've been heading since I got there. I know you can shoot a ball or throw a football, but now let's do the other portion of it. But I just want to thank you guys for PBIS. It's been amazing, a game changer at Independence Middle School. I can't thank you enough for the change that it's done there. The first year I was there, I wrote 330 DRFs. Last year I wrote 89 DRFs. And I'm telling you, it's because of the way that we're pushing PBIS and what it's done for our students and explaining the expected behavior and them understanding the expectations of that behavior first. And I tell our teachers and everybody that walks in our school, if we don't teach it, how can we expect it? They all don't get taught to say thank you, please, no ma'am, yes ma'am. And they hear me every day, all day. I'm sorry, what? And they'll say, yes ma'am. But that's an expected behavior at our school. So I just want to say thank you guys for painting our gym and approving the funding for the bleachers. We're super excited about that. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's present and supported me today. And thank you guys. And Independence is going forward, the middle school.
Any questions?
First thing I want to do is, it shows the culture of a school when you have people come out for a meeting like this. And that speaks volumes. We've had schools where principal showed up, which is very disappointing. Not that the principal showed up, but no one will show up with them, okay? And so that shows a lot that you all came today for her, and it shows that you care enough to get them here. And I really appreciate that. I guess I'm kind of famous for this, but you 3 young ladies, you need to stand up here. You take the mic. Now, recite the Constitution of the United States. No, I'm just kidding you. No, what I always ask is, you know, you probably have more knowledge or more of a feel of your school than anybody else here, okay? So if you had the power and you could think, what's the one thing that you think is the best thing about your school? What's the one thing you want to brag about? Your principal said stuff, but what's the one thing that you guys think is the best thing about Independence Middle School?
When I came as a 6th grader, I was really nervous because, you know, we had to navigate through the school and it was super hard. But once I actually got there, our school is really laid out super easy and it's really easy to remember.
Our curriculum, we make the teachers make sure we are ready for the next grade and they get us prepared.
I really like the layout of the school, how they made it very easy for us to transition to each grade also.
Okay. Now there's the one that and there's, you know, no punishment for this. I'll make sure you're get a nominee. They're not going to be anything. What's the worst thing about your school, and that one thing that's worst or a problem would you like to see improved? And it may not be a fault. It may be the fault of the 5 people up here. Okay. Okay, it may not be the fault of anybody down there. Maybe the fault of what's the one thing, if you can improve, you've got the power today to make an improvement at your school that you think would make that school a better school, what would that be?
Well, I used to be a gifted student, and my gifted classes got taken away from me because they just decided to switch we couldn't have our advanced studies classes anymore. And we used to have about 10 people in there, and then it got moved to only like 5 people, and some of us would stay in there all day, and then the trap field students would come over, and they wouldn't have as much time as we did, and it was just unfair for us.
I want an awning, because when we walk into school, it's horrible when it's like raining and you get soaked, and then for the whole day you're soaked, and it's horrible.
I would also want an awning because whenever I come into school, my clothes are all wet and my hair's all wet, and it's just a hot mess. I smell like a dog.
It's like a good idea. Now, if we get an awning and we use it, because we put a new awning out in Trap Hill, and I go up and pick my grandson up in Trap Hill, and not one kid walks into that awning. They walk out the other way. So if you get an awning there, hopefully you guys will use it there. It's a thing, definitely. So, yeah, they will. Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies. You've done an excellent job. I appreciate you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yep, thanks. Okay, welcome Ridgeview. Dr. Starcher has some comments first.
Board members, every year we recognize schools with the most beautiful campus award. She already knows what's coming. Look at her. So I will say that Mr. Dillon normally does this, and I know he enjoys it, but he did have to leave early. But Miss Landy, Mr. Dillon wanted me to congratulate you.
Thank you.
And Ridgeview Elementary, you're welcome for receiving first place in the most beautiful campus award for the current year. Mr. Ford will present you the plaque. Thank you, and thank you to your staff.
I tell you, that's going to please our female custodian who took over for Dana Scott outside on the grounds. She has been a nervous wreck because she had a legend to compete with, and so she will be thrilled to know that we won, as I am thrilled. So, good evening, President Ford, esteemed board members, and Superintendent Starcher. My name is Nancy Harless Landy. I am the principal at Ridgeview Elementary. I would like to introduce my members of my LSIC that are here. For my teachers, I have Misty Nelson, Melody Mitchum, Lori Mayola. For service personnel, I have Michael Bailey, Sierra Belcher. I have one parent that came, my loyal Carrie Maynard. She is all I need. My at-large members, Jonathan Cruz, Eddie Harless, and my other at-large member is absent. But we do have a quorum present. Pardon? Well, of course, Mr. Shannon. Mr. Cam Shannon, my new assistant principal. Okay. Everybody has my report, I assume? All right. So our performance measures on the WVGSA, we actually have improved in math and reading. We've come from 46 in math up to 53, 48 in reading up to 53, but in science, for some reason, we dropped from 40 down to 26. That was a big eye-opener for us. We're a STEAM school. Our science standards are taught all the time. We could not quite understand what happened with that, but those fifth graders did not do well. Our major concerns for this school year, of course, was our decrease in science. The fact that 12 out of our 57 fifth graders do not meet standards in math, and 8 of them do not meet standards in ELA. Our class sizes, they have been very, very large this year, which has led to some more behavioral issues at the start of the school year, but with PBIS and different things, you'll hear at the end of my report that we are improving. Attendance is always a major concern for our school, and that is one of our strategic plan goals. Our plan to correct or address these major concerns, first of all, I departmentalized fifth grade to try to give more time for science and social studies, and the STEAM teacher is also trying to hit as many science standards as she can prior to testing. So with the departmentalization, we do have a teacher teaching only science, social studies, and writing in her class. Secondly, we have academic coaches assigned to us, Miss Wendy Peters and Miss Ann Baker. They have been amazing in their little bit of time that they get to spend at our school each month. We are so pleased to have them, and we thank federal programs for assigning them to us. We're now focusing right now on taking IMAs in the Cambium test portal for GSA practice. Our Title I teachers are implementing intervention groups along with our teachers. So we do a walk to intervention. It's kind of a modified walk to intervention. And we are addressing academic deficiencies for students based on their iReady diagnostics. We have a very active student assistance team, which is led by Mr. Cam Shannon. And they are meeting as needed for referrals to address student needs. For reading and math, we are doing simple solutions, iReady pathways, accelerated reader, reflex with FRAX, as well as mystery science and scholastic news for integrated literacy opportunities. For our PBIS, our school behavioral matrix, we adopted a WOLBS matrix. So we chant every day what WOLBS stands for, and we howl on the intercom, yes. And behavior expectations are taught all year long. For attendance, we are making meaningful contact with students who miss more than 3 days in a row, more than 5 days in a row, and we are also sending those names to our attendance interventionists as well, Ms. Kim Lacey. And we also have school-wide incentives built in for our students. Ways that the Board of Education can assist us for curriculum. Our teachers feel that if we could just have for each class a set of textbooks that are 25 to start with, instead of like if we have 16 kids on the roster, we get 16 textbooks. Then if we have 25, we wouldn't have to keep asking for textbooks when we get, because we have a lot of kids that come in and register, enroll for our school all year long, and it feels like we're asking for textbooks all the time. Our teachers on our LSIC felt like it would be good to scale back to the basics in K-3. Teachers feel like they're having to cram too much into the school day, and our students aren't getting time to simply practice the basics. Our parents would like to have a good phonics program for their students and feel that too much emphasis is placed on sight words. I just quoted them right verbatim on there. and our parents feel that our students are tested too much. Not much we can do about that. For staff development, our preschool teachers on the LSIC feel that they are getting overly trained in conscious discipline because that training hasn't really changed in several years. That was one thing. And we have a lot of online classes, and the classes are very hard for the principals to keep up with. And I say that only because I have a large staff of 73 people, and it's extremely hard for me to keep up with all the classes that everybody's having to take. For personnel, our pre-K teacher, for example, her pre-K aide vacated her job, and it took a while to get that filled. So she would like to see jobs like that filled quicker. For our facilities, this is, of course, what everybody wants to get to for LSIC. The way our school was built, nobody has access to the heating and cooling, not even myself. If we want to adjust something, we have to do a work order. So it just seems to us, why couldn't adults adjust their own temperature to make themselves comfortable? Teachers are so worried about bothering me or Mr. Shannon that they will stay hot for long periods of time or cold, and it just seems like there's no happy medium. Our teachers will walk around with winter coats on all day, right, Michael? Sierra? For our playground is extremely hot. They would like to see more shade because we got that black rubber mulch, and it is, on a hot day, it is extremely hot out there. And the kids, they don't want to go outside and play because it's so hot on the playground. They'll come back in with very red cheeks. We need 10 more Promethean boards. We are so blessed that we got Promethean boards this year. Thank you very, very much. But our pre-K rooms, special education, and Title I rooms are still in need of Promethean boards, and that would be 10 more boards. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some type of access road. That's all I'm going to say about that. Our biggest accomplishments for the year, this is the first time in a long time that we have 99% qualified teachers in the school. We only have one long-term sub. It's an incredible year for us. We have had the pleasure of hosting Energy Express for 2 summers, and our students have loved that program. It's been a wonderful program for Ridgeview. Of course, we're enjoying our new assistant principal, Mr. Shannon. Thank you so very much. And if you look at the chart that I included, it is showing how our disciplinary misconducts are down this year so far, and that can be attributed to PBIS. If you look at last year, we were at 112. I kept telling everybody, I want to be under 100, and it grew to 112. So far this year, we only have 35. There's a little bit of discrepancy between the WEVUS dashboard and WEVUS. I think one says 35, one says 31, so we went with the higher number. Our strategic plan goal is for no more than 25% of our students to be chronically absent this year. And so far this year, we have 21.94%. We're just hoping to hold that, and we will meet our strategic plan goal. Anything else that we want to share with the board? Our LSIC members just wanted, of course, everybody to know, which everyone knows, that we are suffering with the high rates of insurance, and we just wish that something could be done for that. But other than that, Ridgeview is doing great. Every time somebody comes into the school, they will say, "You've got a beautiful school." I get told that, I know, at least once a month by somebody that's visiting. And they'll say, "How old is this school?" And I said, just last week when the health department came, I said, "This is our 8th year." Can you believe it? 8th year. Time flies. but we get compliments all the time of how good our building looks, and we're just so proud to be Timberwolves. Do you all have any questions?
Any questions?
I have one. What's
Okay.
your enrollment now?
467-ish. I didn't look at it today, but we're up there. 0 at the moment.
So you have a beautiful school, but it's been there 8 years.
Yes,
So you
8
must be
years.
taking good care of it.
Yes, we do take care of it. Our teachers, they work very hard during the day to make sure that, we have built-in expectations for kids on how they should treat their school building. And then, of course, our custodians are invaluable. So we work hard.
Keep
And
up
it
the good
shows.
work. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. That's it? Okay, thank you.
So welcome, Coal City, to Coal City.
Hello, good evening, board members and Dr. Starcher and directors. I'm Heather Greenwald, the principal of Coal City Elementary. With me, I have Jessica Green, one of our teachers, Miss Laurel Smith Coleman, another teacher, Melissa Scarfino, service personnel, Kevin Tingler, one of our bus drivers. Our parents are Justin Scarfino, Jacob Wall. Unfortunately, Mr. Coleman couldn't be with us. Our at-large members would be John Greenwald, and Mr. Bragg could not be here, but Tammy Bragg is sitting in his place as well. But I would also like to mention that our school counselor, Miss Moore, and our school secretary, Courtney Evans, also stayed for our meeting. Okay, first, I'd like to go over our test scores. Last year in math, our school averaged 43%. We did see a 3% decline with that, but in doing so, I would like to recognize our third grade class, Miss Green and Miss Thomas. It's not on your report, but Miss Green had a 64% average in math, and Miss Thomas had a 57%. In reading in 2024, we had 38%, and in science, we had 27%. Reading last year, we had 37%, and science, 16%. So we did see a significant decline in our science. Our major concern for this school year is obviously our West Virginia General Summative Assessment scores in ELA and math in all grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because we believe that there's room for improvement everywhere. Also, our science scores. We are also concerned about the chronic absenteeism in our school, and I mentioned both of those because I'm a firm believer that if you're not at school, you can't learn. Our plan to correct and address the major concerns that we have, our teachers are incorporating small group instruction, following whole group lessons, and collaborating closely with our academic coach and our title teachers to target areas of need. Our academic coach has been providing additional support for our long-term substitute in 5th grade and also our newer teachers. In grades 3 through 5, 2 title teachers offer focused assistance. One focuses on ELA, and the other focuses on math. Additionally, teachers in grades 2 through 5 are partnering with a Ready Math coach provided by the board throughout the school year. The Ready Math coach will visit our school 3 times this year for a week-long period. They have already visited our school where they had classroom observations, teacher meetings, co-planning, and co-facilitating lessons. We have, as for our chronic absenteeism, it remains a challenge for us. Our school counselor, Ms. Moore, and our part-time social worker, Ms. Wills, continue to maintain meaningful communication with parents and guardians. We celebrate and reinforce positive attendance and behavior through monthly incentives, and we will continue to reach out to families to explore additional ways we can support their needs. Ms. Moore and Ms. Wills send letters, and in addition to that, we follow up with phone calls regarding the absences, as well as meeting with students and parents to see if we can find a solution. As I was met with others earlier today, we do have families that will only have one vehicle or no vehicle at all. So if a student misses the bus, we have no way to get them here, even if they do want to be here. Identify what the Board of Education can do to assist your school. Our curriculum, since our test scores have declined, we would like a more rigorous reading curriculum in grades K through 2, just to help give that foundation as they move into 3rd grade. We're currently using Super Kids with Fidelity, but are also supplementing with UFly and iReady. We would like to have the same reading curriculum for grades K through 5. For staff development, the staff at Coal City Elementary were pleased with the way the county professional development was set up at the beginning of the school year. The staff liked the opportunity to choose the professional development sessions they felt would be best beneficial to them. For our personnel, we'd like to take this time to thank the board for last year's decision that allowed us to keep our counselor, Ms. Moore, full-time. Ms. Moore has established relationships with our students and families that has spanned over several years. Her dedication is very much appreciated and needed at our school. We'd also like to thank you for allowing us to keep our part-time social worker, Ms. Wills. And other than that, we don't have any requests for additional personnel here. As for our facilities, our staff is requesting our heating and cooling system to be upgraded. It's very difficult to regulate temperatures. While some rooms are too hot, others are too cold. And I can give an example. Today when I got here, even though the heat was on, my office was at a wonderful 59 degrees. So that's just one example that I can speak of. We would also like to request for our school to be painted. And if not the entire school, then our high traffic areas being the foyer, hallways, the gymnasium, cafeteria area. We would also like to request our floor tile to be replaced with no wax flooring if possible. And last but not least, and I've spoke with Ms. Polly about this, we would like our Promethean boards to be replaced throughout the school. We did receive 2 new ones this year, but our older ones, most are not working and are beyond repair. Our biggest accomplishment for this year has been revamping our entire PBIS system. Even though our school last year under the leadership of Ms. Jordan received bronze, we felt like our students needed one that was tailored more towards what they were able to understand and relate to different areas of the school. So after the first 9 weeks, we did realize the students struggled to understand the meaning of the acronym that had been established, and it was difficult for them to associate it in our different areas. At the beginning of the second 9 weeks, we changed tribe to Indian Eyes. These consist of I am respectful, I am responsible, I am kind, and I am safe. Since these have been implemented and followed with fidelity, we have seen a decrease in behavior issues. When this was typed, we had 11 DRFs. We now have 12, unfortunately, with the majority of these happening during the first 9 weeks. Also, we started using Educator's Handbook that allows us to track our behavior data. That gives us an idea of the areas that we see the most behaviors in, the time of day, and day of the week, which currently it is Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the classroom. So please feel free to provide any additional information that we would like to share with the board. We would like to thank you for approving the request that was submitted last year by Ms. Jordan regarding the replacement of our classroom doors. Though this hasn't happened yet, we still want to thank you for approving this request. We understand that it is a process and will take time, but it is very much appreciated. We would also like to thank you for building the walls and installing doors in our autism and moderate rooms. This has helped in there with not behavior issues, but helping the students feel safer and that they can have ownership in that room. We would also like to thank our maintenance department. They are quick to respond to our maintenance requests and have gone above and beyond to help meet the maintenance needs of our school. Additionally, this is not on your report, but I would also like to thank all of the directors, and they have been very helpful, as this is my first year as a school principal, and have made themselves available for questions and helping navigate this year.
Any questions?
I just have a real quick one.
Yes.
This is, I guess, our fourth meeting. I've noticed science scores have dropped in a lot of schools.
Yes.
We just had the other school in here from Ridgeview, and theirs has dropped a lot. Do you equate that to any one thing, you think? Or, I mean, I know you're new, but if you looked at that, why those scores, science scores? Is it the curriculum? Is it what we're doing with it, the teaching, or is it testing? What do you think that's related back to?
In my opinion, and I taught science when I was in the classroom, is that we don't have a lot of focus on there because we spend so much time focusing on math and reading that I hate to say science sometimes does get pushed to the wayside.
So maybe a way to incorporate science more into our reading curriculum or make it something.
Yes, and we use mystery science as well, and our teachers do their best to meet that and meet the standards. I just think so much focus goes on the math and reading.
And another question I guess I have, Ms. Moore there can answer, you can answer. Attendance, it's a problem everywhere. And, you know,
yes.
And when I talked about grade school attendance, it's all parents. Last time I checked, most sixth graders aren't driving. Now, Marie maybe had to when she was there. I mean, I don't know. She was around a while, okay? But most of them don't drive. So what carrot do we have at the end of the stick to be able to get these kids to school? I mean, what is it? I don't understand. I understand the problem. I don't understand what we can do more than what we're doing.
I'm not sure either because we have incentives. We reach out to parents. We meet with the students. And like you said, it comes down to the parents. Unfortunately, the areas that our students live in, if they miss the bus, they can't get here because it's a longer drive. But Ms. Moore, do you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Those same kids you'll see, those are the kids that probably don't come to school, probably don't eat, probably don't have breakfast that morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're actually probably getting mom and dad up.
Right. And they're getting their siblings.
I mean, it's sad. I don't want to, put things down, but that's the way the process is. A lot of those school families.
And some of our older students or kids here are getting their younger siblings ready for school as well.
Right.
We did have a student the other day, which I mentioned this earlier in a meeting, that the only place that they feel loved is here at school.
Right.
But if they miss school, they can't get here for that.
Right. Yeah. It's a complex question, and someone has the answer to it. But I think. Well, and what's your enrollment now? Do you know what it is?
Yes, we are at 408.
All right, thank you. Appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have on our agenda. This meeting is adjourned.